clears it off the line, we know. But it's a good message from Jackson, because that's going to be a good race between those two. Chelsea, though, are pressing really well here tonight.
And they look organised and in their shape, and Conor Gallagher leading that press once again hounds Bissouma, who was a surprise exclusion from the game on Sunday. They've spread the play to the right-hand side, and Brennan Johnson picks it up, edge of the area, cracks a shot goal, which blocked by Cucurella. It bounces out towards the near side, just in from the touchline, and Brennan Johnson receives it once again. Pedro Porro back to Johnson, then Pedro Porro once more, right angle of the penalty area. His attempt at a cross actually takes a couple of deflections and almost swerved into the path of Richarlison. Badiashile puts the ball out of play, and just down by the corner flag, it's a throw-in to Tottenham Hotspur. Chelsea 0, Tottenham 0. Talk Sport on a Thursday night, and we've got live action from the Europa Conference League right now over on Talk Sport 2. They're building up to that as we speak. Here's Martin Keough.
They've just got to take Spurs at the moment, just better care of the ball. You know, they're building their confidence, they're trying to get a win. Just occasionally you feel Spurs give it away a little bit cheaply. They've certainly done that in their own final third, and Chelsea have profited from that.
Here is Kulusevski trying to spin the ball into the air. Badiashile to Palmer, who hooks it clear midway inside the Chelsea half. Jackson prods it to the near side. It's taken down by Pedro Porro, and now Tottenham will look to build again. Chelsea have caused problems for the likes of Manchester City this season in the league, but they've won just one of their 9 league games against the teams in the top 5 this season, although that was against Spurs. Ball cleared upfield towards Jackson, or could take Romero was manhandling him, and the free kick has gone the other way.
Come off it, ref. Romero is the most physical defender in the Premier League, and Jackson has just given a free kick away because he's got an arm on him. I don't agree.
Here is Johnson down this right-hand side, floating across in towards the far post, and it's overhit and goes straight out of play. I think that's the biggest shock of the night so far. Martin Keough not sticking up for a central defender, but a striker. Are you okay?
Well, yeah, but I think actually Jackson has started this game really brightly. That was a lovely touch. Creates a space for himself. He leans on the defender. I didn't think it was a free kick.
No, I think if you've watched Nicholas Jackson over the course of the last 3 or 4 months, actually, in fact, especially since he's come back from the African Cup of Nations, if you've watched anything other than just the blooper reels, you've seen a player that has developed, started to create with great movement. His hold-up play has been better. He has scored some good goals as well. Yes, he's missed some chances, but he has tested and stretched defences over the course of the last couple of months.
He just needs to be more convincing in front of goal, isn't it? That's what the centre-forward gets paid for. They give you the belief within the team. And at times this year it's not quite been there.
13 goals for a first season in England, though. I think he probably would have settled for that.
What did Drogba do? Is it similar numbers?
He's outscored Drogba's first season, I think, yeah. Here is Chalobah. Inside Chelsea's territory, Caicedo bundles forward, gets to the halfway line, pokes it to Gilchrist, right side. Madueke helps it on. Caicedo continues his run down the right wing for Chelsea. A low ball into the box. It's fended away by Romero. Mudryk clatters into Bissouma. And Tottenham eventually, via Van der Ven, gets it clear out to Son. A lovely balletic turn to take him away from Gilchrist, and then back into midfield from Son, the captain.
It's a good turn of phrase, that, isn't it? Balletic.
You like that one, did you?
I liked it. In fact, Son...
It's a bit like you're defending at times.
Son, he does look in the mood. He's on his own, by the way, on that left-hand side, but it comes out to the right-hand side to Johnson.
That's Pedro Porro who sends a cross in towards the edge of the penalty area. It's away by Chalobah, comes back to Pedro Porro again. He's on the right angle of the Chelsea penalty area, feeds Bissouma, gives it to Kulusevski, and then it goes back into the edge of the centre circle, and Van der Ven switches it out to Son. Son, only 2 goals in 18 games against Chelsea, sends it round the back for Emerson Royale, who goes down under a challenge from Madueke. The referee says play on. You just wonder whether or not the VAR, Michael Salisbury, would look at that. We won't need to look at this challenge from Richarlison, which holds up Madueke, and it's a free kick in the right full-back position for Chelsea. Chelsea 0, Tottenham 0 on TalkSport with Now. Don't forget, with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Chelsea versus Tottenham, live right now, contract-free, with a Now membership. Search Now Sport. This is TalkSport. Expecting goals tonight, aren't we?
Well, we've seen plenty of action. That looked a bit odd there. We're not seeing a replay of that. Madueke there. I don't know if he brought his man down, but he looks very sharp tonight.
Well, the VAR hasn't got involved.
No.
I was going to suggest that we must have goals tonight, because Chelsea have let in 59 goals in the league, the worst since 91-92.
That's incredible, isn't it?
And we've already pointed out that Spurs have conceded nearly 2 per game since November. It's got to be a goal fest, hasn't it? a slugfest between these two.
Well, you'll know the records, but I think, was it 15 that they conceded in one season? I know we managed just 17, didn't actually become champions, but I think 15 was their record here at Chelsea.
And that was when they won the title the first season under Mourinho. And I think you're going to get the gift of a replay for that Madueke incident in just a second. Badiashile has the ball on the left-hand side for Chelsea. He plays it back to Jordan Petrovic. He was supposed to be the backup goalkeeper to Robert Sanchez, but he's been injured for a lot of the campaign. Cucurella has it centre field. It was just a bit of a tug back, wasn't it, from Madueke?
Yeah, I don't think there was enough in it. You just need to be careful, though, wouldn't he? Wouldn't want to do that too many times.
Mudryk has it on this near side, the Ukrainian, with his blonde hair tied back, squeezes between a tight gap that goes to no one in particular, and held onto the ball maybe just a little bit too long there, given away cheaply by Spurs though, and Badiashile could have lifted it over the top for Jackson, didn't have the confidence to do so, and now Caicedo finds Palmer pushes the ball into the path of Madueke, who was so direct and lively on Saturday night. Back into Palmer once again. Poked through to Gilchrist. Gilchrist centralises the ball to Chalobah. Now it's with Badiashile again. Every player in a 18-yard strip of the pitch inside Tottenham territory. Mudryk back to Jackson once more. Left side of the Tottenham box. He squares it back to Badiashile. And then once again Chelsea just keeping possession here and trying to find a way to prize over Tottenham's defence. They might do that with Palmer down the right side of the box, taking on Van de Ven. Comes back to the edge of the area. Waits, gives it back to Gilchrist. Gilchrist looks up. Doesn't decide to send the ball into the area. Goes backwards and Chelsea sensibly holding on to possession. That's a poor ball by Badiashile. I mean, it was unnecessary giving it to Caicedo when he clearly didn't want it there. He was being pressurised from behind. He actually won a free kick, Caicedo, but it was a silly ball.
I know you're saying risk and reward, but I think they're trying to pump that ball forward there. Kulusevski, though, he's a difficult opponent to play against, isn't he? Gets stuck in. I know he's there from a point of view of getting the ball as the 10, but defensively he does a good job.
The idea was right from Palmer to pick the ball up right side and then try and play a reverse pass into Gallagher.
He's getting into that right-hand space, isn't he? Just behind the little pocket behind the midfield, Palmer. Just in that little pocket. The sort of John Barnes position we used to talk about years ago. He's in that little area. Can't pick him up right now.
Yeah, well, it's a difficult player to defend, isn't he? Cole Palmer, so much success in the first season at Chelsea, top scorer, most assists, 13 in all competitions, 23 goals, not bad. Here's Cucurella, played in by Mudryk, down the left side, just took an extra touch and allowed Van de Ven to come across, swept up for Tottenham, put it out on this near side, it's away for a corner to Chelsea, 0-0.
Yeah, good approach play, Cucurella though. Didn't really have any awareness around him. As a player, you know, when you're in the box that close to goal, you've got to expect somebody on your shoulder. I think he could have just whipped that ball across the box.
A little bit hesitant from Marc Cucurella, who has had his mishaps in recent weeks. And Tottenham now being tested from a corner. And we know how vulnerable they have been from corners so far. Ange Postecoglou is stubborn. He will play the high line come hell or high water. He also says the set-piece goals they're considering are not the biggest problem, but they have managed to concede 13 set-piece goals in the last 21 Premier League games, and everyone surrounding Vicario.
And significantly now there's a Spurs player, isn't there, between the goalkeeper and the Chelsea man.
That's the idea. Son trying to wrestle with Gallagher. It goes in towards him, and then he loses the ball because his own player puts pressure on him. It flicks through the 6-yard box and goes out for another corner. This time Richarlison actually caused him more grief than a Chelsea player.
Yeah, he does not look happy at all, does he? You're going to have to pepper those balls in on him there. That was a ball that he could just come and deal with, and he fluffs it, drops it. Not convincing at all.
Well, Cole Palmer goes over to the far side to take the corner kick from the other side of the pitch this time.
It's interesting though, it's slightly different. You can see one or two that are marking, and then others are in a zonal situation, so there's been a little bit of a change there.
Certainly been a tweak from the weekend. Here is the delivery from Palmer in towards the centre of the penalty area, away by Richarlison, who this time doesn't have to worry about protecting his goalkeeper or distracting him. It's given to Caicedo, then Cucurella gives it back to him. And Chelsea just got to be a little bit careful here because Palmer and Madueke were in offside positions. There was a collision over on the far side with Richarlison and Madueke, and it's going to be a free kick about 8 or 9 yards in from the left touchline. 12 or 13 yards inside Tottenham territory. It's 0-0. Yeah, Spurs only conceded 1 goal from a set piece in their opening 12 Premier League games this season. 1 in 12 Premier League games, and they've conceded 13 in 21 since then. And it coincides actually with a loss of form of their goalkeeper, who had a brilliant start to the season, 79% and 58% since.
Yeah, but he's afraid of crosses, isn't he? You know, when the ball goes in the box, he doesn't seem to be able to deal with it. I think he's not bad in terms of the way that he's shot stopping. Okay, you'd expect me to say that, but something goes, when you get around him, he's affected by you.
Chelsea won it again inside Tottenham's half of the field, and Chelsea have actually started the brighter. Remember, it's Tottenham who need to win this to keep alive their hopes of Champions League football. Chelsea fans would love nothing more than to torpedo their Champions League hopes. They gleefully remember the Battle of the Bridge 8 years ago today. The John Terry tweet, "Not on my watch." It's a game for which they reserve the most emotion. Here's Jackson down the left side. He canters into the area. He's got Cucurella on the overlap. It goes right the way through the penalty area. Gilchrist is going to hit this. And he took a long time to come onto it. He had a lot of time to think about it before approaching it on the edge of the box, and he ended up elevating it far too high into the shed end away to our left-hand side. He was on the edge of the box when he struck it. I think it went into the top tier.
Yeah, high and not very handsome, but he hits it nonetheless. He scored a very good goal. Bit closer to the goal, shall we say, on that occasion, but this one was too far away for him.
All sent upfield by Spurs, but it's a Chelsea head that gets there first. Chalobah headed it back into midfield. Spurs haven't had much action inside the Chelsea half of the field yet, and it's Chelsea who are defending the halfway line. They've dropped off now as Kulusevski comes forward, finds Pedro Porro. He feeds Brennan Johnson, right side. A low cross into the box. Richarlison trying to get there. Petrovic did get there, and he pushes the ball away to safety for Chelsea. Good chance.
Yeah, best action we've seen. A ball into the box early. Johnson whips it in. The keeper just gets there before the attacker.
It was a good, accurate cross from Brennan Johnson, and Jordan Petrovic had to react. He came out in his bright yellow goalkeeping uniform, thrust his hand at the ball and pushed it some distance. Kulusevski conspires with Son, who tries to feed Emerson Royale, but the intervention comes from Caicedo, and then Madueke releases Palmer. Palmer trying to get over the halfway line, but Suma has to come and snaffle the ball up, and he does exactly that.
Yeah, they see Palmer, don't they, as the danger man. Straight away they shut the door on him.
No surprise about that. Tottenham, I don't think, have the same enmity towards Chelsea as Chelsea do towards them. I suppose it's tempered by rivalries with Arsenal and West Ham, but they certainly aren't fond of one another, that is for sure.
In their build-up, Chelsea go to a three, don't they? And Cucurella now, he's the sort of inverted fullback, comes in, sits alongside the midfield player. And then Conor Gallagher, who's a midfield player now, can go and join Palmer as well. So it gets good numbers into the final third.
Madueke down the right side, outwitting Royale, gets into the penalty area, pulls it to the 6-yard box, read by Romero, and flicked out to the far side and away for a throw-in. But he had the beating of Emerson Royale there, Noni Madueke. It was direct and it was aggressive, and he got into the box and got to the byline.
That thrust, isn't it, from him? But Romero read it beautifully.
Well, Chelsea did chop and change their formation on Saturday night. They moved Cucurella into that midfield position. I think, especially in the second half, that worked, and that's why they've continued that. I'm not actually sure whether or not it was to get an extra man in that position or just to get him as far away from his own goal as possible.
We're out of order. He just needs to take better care of the ball, though, doesn't he? Sometimes you see it there, and he doesn't go forward. He goes back. So it tells me that he doesn't have a picture. He doesn't get his body sideways on, which is not an easy thing to do. You need to receive the ball on your back foot and go forward. Simple.
0-0 the score. Chelsea have a set piece then. This is about 4 steps in from the right touchline, and it's about 12 yards back from the angle of the penalty area on the right side. So it's perfect for a right footer to float this one in behind the Tottenham line.
Edge of the box, isn't it? It's not. Yep. I would have thought normally they're a little bit higher than this, so they've maybe adjusted Tottenham.
And Romero and Jackson getting reacquainted with one another again as the free kick comes in by Gallagher in towards the back post, flicked away, but as far as Badiashile. It was Van der Ven who got first contact on it. Badiashile then found himself free on the edge of the penalty area, but couldn't do anything with the ricocheted ball, and it goes out of play and away for a throw into Chelsea on the left side. 20 minutes gone, still goalless, but it's been a bright start from Chelsea, but Tottenham have had one very good chance.
There's simply nothing in this, really. It could go either way.
Madueke, Palmer, back to Gilchrist, into Caicedo. Caicedo shuffling it back to Trevor Chalobah. Chelsea without 14 first-team players. No Timo Werner or Destiny Udogie for Spurs. Lovely twist away from Porro by Mudryk. Now he's got to find a pass. Can he do that? He's still dribbling. He's still dribbling. He got a lucky ricochet. He's in the box now. He's still going. He's trying to poke it, but he just held onto it for far too long. And the gap between him and the goal was always going to close eventually. And eventually Spurs managed to squeeze him off the ball.
Do you know Mudryk, and you look at him, and I have used this analogy before, but it's like a Ferrari car, isn't it? But a learner driver at the wheel. I don't think he knows where he's going. He's run with the ball there. He's got 2 or 3 lucky ricochets, and he's through on goal. And I don't even know how he got there, and nor does he. And he needs to work. He needs to know how he gets there. He does. Every foot of a top player planted, they know what they're doing. They're like panthers, the top players. He doesn't at the moment.
He looked a little bit hopeful as he picked the ball up, and
he's running into traffic, wasn't he?
I just think maybe he could have released it just a little bit earlier.
Come on, if you look at that, if we get a replay on it, honestly, the whole thing is lucky. Even when he gets his first turn on it, could have lost it at any moment.
Let's just say he wasn't in complete control. Here's Emerson Royale up to Richarlison, trying to feed the ball into Son, cut out well by Chelsea, who flexed back into a really good defensive shape. Caicedo is fouled once again, and another free kick goes Chelsea's way. So we've played 22 minutes. It's Chelsea 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. They're just about to start on TalkSport 2, one of the biggest nights in Aston Villa's recent history, a European semi-final. Although, speak to Unai Emery and he says it's all about the league, so maybe he's got an earphone with TalkSport on tonight so he can hear what happens in this game, because he will know as well as anyone this is significant.
What a ball that is to Mudryk.
Mudryk out to the right side, finds Madueke, runs diagonally towards the edge of the box, comes in on his left foot, unleashed a shot over the bar. Well, he hit it with power, and he loves to cut in on his left foot from the right side, Noni Madueke. He dribbled along the length of the 18-yard line, and when he got into the D, he shot it left-footed towards the far corner, and it was only a yard or so over the top of the bar.
Yeah, that was better, wasn't it? Mudryk should come for him a little bit, but that was a lovely ball that he played. Transferred it out to the right-hand side, Mudryk coming in onto the ball there. And he's just good, puts it over the bar. He just looks on the right-hand side. He just looks a little bit better when he's travelling with the ball.
Basuma gets it back to his goalkeeper, Vicario. Vicario bludgeons it forward. Gilchrist gets in there. Madueke gets ahead of the defender, Emerson Royale. And he's got to be a little bit careful. It's not the first foul that he's committed. And Rob Jones will be totting those up. It's another Chelsea free kick. And it is about 18 yards outside the penalty area. Just a shade right of centre. Conor Gallagher has taken charge. Palmer's peeled away to the right. Thaddeus Schill, Trevor Chalobah up from the back. And Chelsea have got to make this possession count. 0-0. Swings the ball into the back post. Chalobah and Mark scores. Another example of dead ball deficiencies at Tottenham. A curling ball from the right side from Gallagher. Chalobah rose unchallenged, unmatched, and a header that was unstoppable beats Vicario. It's another set-piece, set-back for Postecoglou. It's Chelsea 1, Spurs 0.
Well, as you say, set pieces. I mean, I think what it is, I think they're marking the width of the goal. And it's like, OK, we'll leave the furthest man. But Chalobah's got a free run at that, unopposed. He comes onto it. It's a lovely ball in. Look, it's there. It's just saying, just let me head that. And he just angles it into the far corner. Beautiful header. But no Spurs player anywhere near him. It's kind of schoolboy defending, isn't it? I mean, I think obviously the press conference afterwards will be very interesting with the manager to answer this one. Are you doing enough work on the training ground? There's only so many hours you can do. By the way, VAR's looking at this. There might not be a goal here.
Checking the goal for possible offside, we are told. Well, we don't have the VAR monitors or access to it, so we can't tell you whether or not that they've decided it is offside. but they are checking for possible offside. Remember, Conor Gallagher took a set piece, so it's a dead ball situation. So you would have thought that Chalobah could have timed his run perfectly there. He is celebrating as if he has timed it well and scored his goal. It would be his first of the season, but they are checking. Michael Salisbury back in Stockley Park, putting the lines on.
I think he looks okay. Yeah, we're just looking at a replay of this, and I think he looks as if he's on. Let's see.
It did go a little bit early.
Well, when you look from that angle, but I think the initial angle, I think he looks as if he's safe, but we'll see.
Well, we'll soon find out. Rob Jones just getting some instruction from Michael Salisbury, who's in the VAR hub. And Mark Cucurella might well be the one who ends up being signified as offside.
Possible foul now, they're saying on VAR, so I wonder...
Hold on, so we've had the offside they've decided is okay. Now they're checking for a possible foul. Now, Chelsea, remember, were denied a victory in the game at Aston Villa after a foul was given against Benoit Badiashile in the build-up to the goal that Axel Disasi thought had won the game. Now, was there a blocking off moment there with Cucurella getting involved with a defender in front of Chalobah?
I don't think that the defender can get to it.
Goal given.
Yeah.
So we've had an extensive VAR check. They've checked for offside, they've checked for a foul by Cucurella, and they've decided in the aftermath of all of that, in the final analysis, that Chalobah's goal is good. Chelsea lead by a goal to nil. Here's Martin Keough.
Well, the only thing they didn't check there was for a moving ball. It's like they didn't want to give it. I don't think there was any doubt that was definitely a goal. And I don't think the player is actually adjudged, or they've looked at it, is Cucurella fouling him? No, the player's standing on his own. There's no way that impacts on the goal. So no, right decision, finally.
It's a bit of a killjoy moment, because the Chelsea supporters were enjoying the goal from Chalobah, and it dampened the enthusiasm. I just wonder what those Tottenham fans behind the goal away to our left are thinking. They've seen their team concede yet another set-piece goal, when you think that over the course of the season, that is now 15, 13, 14 now in 22 Premier League games. Overall this season, only the bottom four have conceded more set pieces than Tottenham.
Do you know, it used to be the teams at the bottom of the table were better at set pieces.
Cucurella in behind to Mudryk. Mudryk down the left side. His shot is deflected, and it goes through off Van de Ven into the arms of Vicario. But Palmer was lurking with intent inside the box, and they've got to get a grip here. Vicario's given the ball away to Gallagher on the left side. He's gone down into the wing position. Vicario's thrown it straight out to the Chelsea captain. Cucurella's got it now. Tottenham not fully focused, and I think put off by the concession of that goal. They hadn't settled properly into this game. They trailed by a goal to nil, another set-piece goal, and now once again they're on the back foot. They've given the ball away far too many times from the edge of their penalty area. Vicario's looked wobbly, and Spurs are in danger here of seeing their season.
Well, they need to show character, Sam, don't they? A little bit of personality, a bit of character. Never easy coming to Stamford Bridge. You've lost another goal from a set piece, which was hugely disappointing. Expected the goalkeeper. He threw the ball straight to a Chelsea man there.
Well, Chelsea will revel in this, and Tottenham Hotspur will be desperate not to have another moment where a promising season turns into another where they have become also rans. Lovely ball by Cucurella to the far side. Madueke takes it out of the sky. He tries to challenge Emerson Royale into the penalty area. Beats him, gets into the box, gets to the byline, tries to pull it through the penalty area, then just slips at the vital moment. But he's got the beating of Emerson Royale.
He has. Madueke there, really good pace. He kind of shows the ball, doesn't he, to the defender, and then hooks it away. Good pace, really direct. Trying to play out from the back here again. Spurs determined, aren't they, to play out from the back.
Romero switching the play from one side of the penalty area to the other. Chelsea blue shirts everywhere that they have to navigate. Van de Ven has done that. It's run through into the centre circle. Now there is a bit of space on the near side for Johnson. Heavy touch, but he's got the second one. Centred the ball, comes off Cucurella. There's a half-handed appeal for handball. Eventually Chelsea get it clear. Cucurella to Caicedo, and now they break down the right side. It's up to Palmer. Palmer, who's just short of the halfway line, being tracked by Van de Ven. 30 minutes gone, Chelsea 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. You're listening to TalkSport on a Thursday night. Currently 1-0 to Chelsea. The latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Chelsea to win 8-13 on, 13-8 on to win the game. 15-4 for Tottenham. The draw is 3-1. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+, begambleaware.org. Foul on the near side goes Chelsea's way. Yesterday in the press conference, Ange Postecoglou was talking about the set-piece defending, right? And he said, you know, he didn't think it was the most important thing. There are other things. It's all part of an integrated approach. It's not just about set pieces, blah, blah. He even said in the end, he started quoting Billy Joel, saying, you know, the old line from one of his songs, you may be right, I may be crazy, but it's maybe a lunatic you're looking for.
Yeah, but do you know what we have now? So back in the day, you used to have, I suppose, who can we talk about? Maybe the Burnleys, the Stokes were very good at set pieces, and they knew that was going to get them a certain amount of goals. So now it's the best teams that do it.
So why
the best teams are doing it now.
So why can't he get a tune out of
So he has to do it.
Defense?
He has to, because he's not spending enough time on the training pitch doing it. Because there's only so many minutes that a coach has. He has to, and it's not enough of incentive for him, but it needs to be. Because if you want to compete with the rest, I mean, there's not a lot between Spurs really, but their set pieces are awful right now.
Here is Palmer down the right side for Chelsea, taking on Basuma, beating him, coming infield. Got a bit of space, a little trick to take him away from Emerson Royale. He feeds Mudryk inside the penalty, right-footed shot, and it whistles past the top corner. He almost licked the paint on the outside of the angle of crossbar and post. It was a sweeping Chelsea move. At the heart of it was Cole Palmer, whose delicate feet took him away from two Tottenham players. And a crisp pass into Mudryk was exactly what they needed. They just needed a crisp finish too.
Yeah, Mudryk again coming onto it. Just couldn't get that whippage on the ball that he needed. But Palmer, lovely little sort of skip, wasn't it? Flick of the foot. And then a bit of magic from him. Palmer is a great player to watch right now, isn't he?
Vicario's just kicked the ball out, straight out for a throw into Chelsea, deep inside Tottenham territory.
Well, his confidence is on the floor right now.
Chalobah, good pass into Palmer, inside right channel. Now onto Madueke. Chelsea now brimming with confidence, getting to the penalty area. Palmer stretching, tries to poke it to Gallagher. Away by Van der Ven. And then up to Richarlison, who needs to hold on to the ball. It's a little bit too tight there, Chalobah, and gives away a free kick. And Tottenham have it. Tottenham need to somehow revive themselves, don't they? Because they've just cut off the pace a little bit.
They do. When they get the ball back as well, I suggest they give it to Johnson on this right-hand side. Cucurella tucking into midfield. There's a big lot of space for him if they can use that ball quickly.
Chelsea can go above West Ham if they get a point tonight. If they win, they'll go 3 points within Manchester United's total in 6 and within 2 of Newcastle in 7th. Spurs will move to within 4 points of Villa with a game in hand should they win tonight. The issue is that game in hand is against Manchester City, but well, their record is a little bit handy against them, so you never know. But it doesn't mean anything if they don't get anything tonight, because if they don't win tonight, Aston Villa has a chance to claim Champions League football at the weekend when they go to Brighton. The Sunday session coming from Brighton this Sunday. Here is Kulusevski, right side for Tottenham, who trail by a goal to nil. Poor ball into the box, easy for Jordan Petrovic to pick it up.
Well, the ball was into Richarlison, into feet. And you can see why Richarlison gets annoyed, because nobody really looks at him and gives him the ball. You need to be collective, linked together. That's what, when you watch Man City, there's so many passes, isn't there? You look at De Bruyne, they're looking for Haaland every time. Where's that relationship here with the Spurs players?
Henry Winter is with us tonight. You'll hear from him at half-time. You'll be able to read his take on tonight's action tomorrow on the TalkSport website, talksport.com. Just having a little break in play because Mudryk has got an ailment on halfway. And Postecoglou has come out towards the near touchline. Jackson's come over to refuel. And now we're back underway with 10 minutes to go before half-time. Alan Brazil and Ray Parlour on breakfast tomorrow morning. We'll dissect this performance and look forward to the weekend. We've got Luton Everton tomorrow night in the Premier League as well. And the final day of the Championship on Saturday, 12:30, TalkSport 2. Johnson right side, deep cross into the box, away by Gilchrist. Brought down by Basuma, just outside the area. Right side is Pedro Porro. Tottenham on the attack here. Basuma, now to Johnson, who's been their brightest player so far in this opening 35 minutes. Romero, Van der Ven, slipping it to Kulusevski. First time ball is behind Richarlison. Cucurella gets it back to Petrovic, and Petrovic will put his size 10s through the ball up towards the halfway line.
Kulusevski there giving the ball away again. It's a pivotal role where he's been asked to play tonight. Obviously Palmer doing the same, isn't he, for Chelsea, doing it much better. But I think he's an intelligent player, Kulusevski, so let's see if he can actually improve. At the moment, it's not working in that role.
Yeah, his output in terms of assists has gone down this season. I think it was 7 and then 8, and it's only been 3 this season in the Premier League. Something that I think he would like to improve. Cucurella fouled by Brennan Johnson as they chase the ball into the corner on this right side. There was lots of debate about the team selection on Sunday amongst Spurs fans. They want Son out wide. They've got Son out wide tonight. They didn't think he was as effective through the middle. Eyebrows were raised when Bissouma wasn't in the team and Højbjerg was. And Bissouma is in the team tonight. Son is out wide and they're still 1-0 down to Chelsea.
Would you have put Son in the central position? Would you not move him? Because he's been quite peripheral tonight, hasn't he? We haven't really seen Son in the game.
Well, if you speak to Spurs fans, they don't think he's been performing particularly well playing through the middle.
So put him in, yeah, but maybe tonight he was needed.
Maybe number 10?
I think so,
dropping into a number 10 position, play Richarlison.
Well, Maddison's been there most of the season, so like bringing him into that role. In fact, they should be changing, switching, making it more difficult to pick up. It's very predictable.
Well, they haven't really tested Chelsea's rather makeshift back line at this moment in time. Remember, if you had said at the beginning of the season the back line would be Cucurella, Badiashile, Chalobah and Gilchrist, I think there would be a few eyebrows raised amongst Chelsea supporters.
Well, Chalobah looked very vulnerable there, actually. He's given a free kick away, ball into feet. He's tried to win it, a ball he can't really win. Again, they're the basics.
Gifted a free kick to Tottenham. It would be just like Spurs to score a set piece after conceding one now.
Now Romero's coming up and he looks like a centre forward when he goes up for set pieces.
It's highest scoring defender in the Premier League this season, Christian Romero, alongside his mate in North London. Here is Pedro Porro on this near side the right, determined to send the ball into the edge of the 6-yard box. There's a one-man Chelsea wall. That is Mudryk. There's a collection of white shirts right in the heart of the penalty area, and a big blue bob trying to stop them from getting there. It's towards the far post, and Romero's header is wide. And Petrovic was stranded, and it looked as if it was going to sneak in at the far post, well beyond the goalkeeper who didn't know where he was. Unfortunately for Tottenham Hotspur, Romero just lost sight of the target and sent it wide.
Should be a goal though, shouldn't it? And he's kind of gone with it with the right hand side of his head. And you think that should be the left hand side. He's turned his whole body in the air, but so powerful, Romero, from set pieces. But it's one of those he should be putting away.
Top scoring defender in the Premier League, should have had another goal. Mickey van de Ven heads the ball away. Chelsea win it back and then gift it straight back to Johnson. Halfway line is Pedro Porro, who needs someone to show for him. Richarlison does. Little flick to Saab, but Caicedo, who seems to have thrived actually after emerging from the shadow of Enzo Fernandez. I don't know whether or not it's because Gallagher sort of gets out of his way and gets further forward, or it's because Cucurella supplements the numbers in midfield, but Caicedo's had a good couple of games in that Chelsea midfield, and his best games have coincided with Enzo Fernandez's absence. Here he is on halfway, almost giving the ball away. Come on, say it's curse.
Yes.
Madueke down the right side, finding Palmer. 39 on the clock, looking for Madueke again, who bursts away. Pass Royale, poorly timed challenge. He goes back and twists him again. He's enjoying himself tonight, Madueke. Gives it back to Gilchrist. Gilchrist into Palmer. Palmer back to Gilchrist, and Chelsea still on the attack once more. Chalobah halfway. Can they manage this game well, Chelsea? Because so often this season...
Vuoi sapere quanto vale la tua auto? In modo facile e veloce online? Inserisci i dettagli della tua auto su noicompriamoauto.it. Non ti daremo solo una stima, ma il prezzo di vendita. E dopo un breve check in filiale potrai venderci la tua auto. Scopri il tuo prezzo ora su noicompriamoauto.it.
Said I'll have that rather than playing the advantage, and they want a yellow card here for
That's an example of the confidence now that's running through the Chelsea team, popping the ball around really nicely, all looking really comfortable. I do feel that Palmer's the one though, isn't he? He kind of sets the rhythm because he's absolute quality in the ball, on the ball. Really cool.
Well, Palmer's the one who's oozing confidence even when things aren't going well. He is someone who is constantly wanting the ball, asking for it, calling for it. He's given it to Mudryk here, who's running from the left touchline, and then he's ballooned the ball. Again, that calm head that is possessed by Cole Palmer just isn't there with Mudryk. He rushes everything. It's all a little bit forced, isn't it? And that was a forced effort when there wasn't really an opportunity on.
Yeah, and if I'm here tonight, you know, as a part of the coaching team for someone else, and I'm looking at that thinking, do we want to buy him? I'm thinking, no, that's decision making, that he's not quite right in his game.
Now, looking at the statistics, Chelsea very much on top. Their expected goals tally is 1.47. Their ball possession better than Spurs. 9 attempts on goal, 3 shots on target, 6 off target, 11 free kicks, 2 corners. Tottenham's statistics, XG of 0.04 in the first half. 2 goal attempts, none of them on target. Van der Ven trying to get clear over the halfway line after tussling with Jackson. He feeds Son over on the far side, 4 minutes before half-time. This is TalkSport. Ball infield to Bissouma, who swings it out towards the near touchline. Aston Villa lead against Olympiacos. The ball goes in towards the back post. It's headed away by Gilchrist, and it goes out. That goal has been chalked off for VAR. It's still 0-0. A dramatic moment at Villa Park. Chelsea win the ball, and there's numbers over here. Jackson does well to twirl away from Romero, and then Romero goes back at him, got the ball. Jackson wants a free kick, not going to get one. But Tottenham again looks a little bit easy to unpick.
Little pirouette there, would you say?
Yes, I think that's probably about right.
Yeah, I think so. Is that descriptive enough?
Yes,
he looked very, very pretty there, didn't he? I mean, look, good, clean feet. Here we go,
Johnson into the penalty area, powering away down the right side, blocked by Cucurella, and it's pushed out for a corner. So Aston Villa 0, Olympiacos 0 in the Europa Conference League semi-finals. Fiorentina lead Club Brugge in the same competition by a goal to 0. Atalanta have gone in front in the semi-finals of the Europa League. They lead Marseille by a goal to 0. 13 minutes gone there. Still Roma 0, Leverkusen 0. Chelsea lead 1-0 in the Premier League tonight. Live and exclusive to national radio right here on TalkSport this evening. Corner to Tottenham Hotspur. Pedro Porro will take it. There is 4 clutched on the penalty spot, trying to wrestle for space inside the area. Pedro Porro delivers it, so right to the back post. Bissouma receives it, tees it up for Kulusevski, who's 10 yards outside the box. Another chance for Porro to centre it. It's ballooned behind, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0 on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. I think the Tottenham supporters, 1 or 2 of them just deciding that they have seen enough of the first half, are starting to spill down the exits to go to the concession stands and get maybe a pint or so of liquid refreshment. A few of the Chelsea supporters in the Matthew Harding end starting to do the same as well.
Got to keep believing though in their team, and the team, the head's dipping just a little bit. These Spurs
Still
players,
very early in the game, isn't it? I mean, there's a long way to go.
It is.
Tottenham Hotspur score a lot of second half goals,
but it feels uphill here for Spurs, and they haven't really clicked yet. Kulusevski in that role is not quite working. We're not seeing enough of Son. Johnson's been fantastic out here on this right-hand side. Cucurella has been a really good battle between those two.
Son, far side, trying to take on Gilchrist from the goal kick, and they decided to go long. Chelsea, they're a bit more pragmatic there. Chalobah helping it up to Jackson. Jackson stretching, not going to get there. Romero very quickly covers the ground inside the centre circle, pinches it and plays it to the left. Here's Pedro Porro out to the right side. Now Johnson has it for Tottenham, and we're approaching the final few seconds of the first half regular time. We'll see what happens as the 4th official assesses the situation. Conor Gallagher in possession, beautifully waits and outwits Brennan Johnson, then turns the ball forward. It was a little bit hopeful to find Jackson from there. Well, I'm sure he was inspired by that big tifo prior to the game, Conor Gallagher, but he started the game brilliantly, and Chelsea started the game well. And when they haven't got the ball, they go into a sort of 4-4-2 shape, don't they, where they all look very well structured now and in their positions, and it makes it very difficult for Tottenham to break through. The spaces are out wide.
They've got to keep that discipline though, Sam, haven't they? So it's the wide players tucking in and actually, acting like a barricade for their defence. The thing is with Spurs, they've got to keep passing this ball though. Keep believing, keep trying to thread those passes, and keep trying to go into that centre. They're all the time going through the middle. I think they need to do that and then go wide.
It's important, as you say, that those wingers, Mudryk and Madueke, keep up their work. Going back the way, tracking back. Madueke trying to keep the ball in far side, not going to do it this time after it was won back by Mudryk on this side. Then the play was switched to the far side. It spun out towards the touchline, and it just got away from Madueke. And Tottenham have it back again. We're in the first of 4 minutes of added time at the end of the first half on Talk Sport. And it's Chelsea 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Going to Arsenal on Saturday. Arsenal-Bournemouth live on Talk Sport is...
Yeah.
You'll be tuned into that one, won't you?
I'll be there.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing you. Are you excited
Lovely.
about it?
Of course. It's fantastic
Still
time to be an Arsenal fan. It's been a difficult 20 years, hasn't it? When you look at...
what you mean,
it's been that long since we won... Well, since we last won a Premier League.
And you might win it again this year, you never know. Here is Johnson down the right side, in towards the edge of the penalty area, and then Sarr's effort goes wide of goal, deflected behind by Chalobah. It's out for a corner right at the end of the first half for Tottenham.
Well, they're high-fiving Chalobah because he gets a block in there. Again, it's Johnson down this right-hand side. He's the go-to player, pulls it back, and the defender's there to block the shot. Corner kick to be taken by Pedro Porro.
Assistant Ian Hussin on this near side just glances over at the ball to make sure it is overhanging the quadrant as per the laws of the game. Pedro Porro hands on hips, just has to wait because there's a bit more pushing and shoving inside the penalty area. This is what...
Guess who's involved?
Romero. Chelsea do very well is that they do disrupt, and therefore the referee's eyes are watching inside the penalty area when you...
I think it's Chalobah, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a ball flat towards Kulusevski on the right-hand side. He gets towards the near side of the box, sets it back for Pedro Porro. His deep ball is towards Son. It's flicked away by Mudryk, and that felt like a bit of a waste of a corner. You could sort of see that they were trying to be a bit inventive there, but it didn't come
Yeah,
off.
it's unlucky. Mudryk just about does his job. Son trying to pull off his shoulder. A bit more pace on the ball would have been better, though.
1-0 to Chelsea, the goal coming from Trevor Chalobah, his first of the season. A headed goal from a set piece again. The undoing for Tottenham Hotspur. Ball loose, be picked up by Gallagher here, who got there ahead of Sarr, wanted a free kick, wasn't forthcoming. Here's Johnson, oh, his ball into the box, takes a deflection. Cucurella was the one it hit, and it was lucky for Petrovic that he saw it because it spun up towards his left. He had to readjust and catch it. You're right to identify Johnson as the key attacking threat, and I think that's probably because Cucurella is a little bit more adventurous than Alfie Gilchrist and is leaving space for Johnson to try and expose, and they're trying to send him in again down that right-hand side, and Cucurella's got to be smart here, and just runs across the body of Johnson, stops him from reaching the ball. It goes out and away for a goal.
Totally committed there, Cucurella. Sometimes I watch him and I think he doesn't go flat out quick enough, and there he certainly did. He knows, because he wants the ball in possession. He's in midfield, but when he's out of possession, when they're out of possession, he's really out of position, so he's got to get back as quick as he possibly can. He did it really well there.
Aston Villa were in front, then VAR got involved and chalked it off, and then Olympiacos have scored at the other end. Olympiacos lead Aston Villa by 1-0. Do you think Evangelos Marinakis will be happy with VAR today? Well, he's the chairman of Olympiacos.
Oh, well, that's a difficult one for him, isn't it? Oh, yeah, I bet he is.
Ball out of play on this near side. Spurs have given away a corner.
Have they got a paid official working for their club?
Probably.
The same way that Clattenburg is?
Yeah, maybe Mark doubles up, actually. What's his Greek like?
I don't think he should have got involved, by the way, in that situation, personally, but there we are.
You can get in that debate tomorrow when you're on White and Jordan, if you'd like.
Well, it's probably 2 weeks old, that one now, isn't it?
Okay, well, I'm sure you'll find something to get involved in. You'll wind up someone. Here is Mudryk with the corner, delivers it in towards the near post, and Gilchrist flashing across the post, gets first contact, sends it behind, and that's the last act of the first half. And actually, probably that's an apt way to end the first half, because Chelsea, who have been the dominant force in the game, got in front because of a free header inside the Tottenham penalty area. It's something that Tottenham fans have had to get used to over the course of the season. They've lost just once here to Spurs in 38 league meetings, Chelsea. It is a legendary record that has sustained Chelsea fans even in the darkest of times. Spurs need a second half revival, or their Champions League hopes will be over, and maybe they need a set piece coach too. Just don't tell Ange. At half time, Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0.
Well, Spurs have arrived at Stamford Bridge in need of a win to keep hold of a realistic chance of reaching the Champions League next season. They've been second best to a Chelsea side who dominate in this fixture, as Sam pointed out. They've played with a control and a composure that's been reminiscent of blue sides of seasons past. Thoroughly impressed by Chelsea in this first half, who actually looked like the side who were aiming for the top four and not the other way around. Martin Kieran and Henry Winter rejoins us at the break. Henry, I'll start with you. How impressed have you been by that Chelsea performance?
Very. I mean, let's start out wide. I mean, Madueke versus Emerson. If that was a boxing bout, the referee would have stepped in by now. I think his pace and intelligence, he is running rings around Emerson. And Mudryk on this side, I mean, because of the price, because of the early link with Arsenal, there have been a lot of question marks about Mudryk. Look, he needs to work on his finishing, but there seems to be a much more confident player in there. And then moving back over to the right, almost in a sort of number 10 position, Cole Palmer. I mean, his feet, the chops, the tricks. I mean, it's like watching a sort of YouTube celebration of all these skills. And he's got, you know, he delivers as well. But Conor Gallagher, for me, has set the tone from the tifo, from his applause for that. He is doing everything, which is what Chelsea want from their leader. He is pressing. He delivered the ball in for Chalobah to get his for Chelsea.
And in a rather poignant moment at the break here at Stamford Bridge, an inflatable Champions League trophy has just gone blowing in the wind across the pitch, which is pretty much like Spurs' top four hopes at the moment. Martin, a fantastic header to open the scoring, but it's another set piece. 15 conceded by Spurs now in the Premier League. Only the bottom four have conceded more. He says he doesn't need a set piece, coach does and Postecoglou. He needs to wake up a little bit in that regard.
Well, the thing is, he's proving that he does need one, doesn't he? I mean, at the moment, as the manager, it's interesting. Pep Guardiola has said, I'm no good at set pieces, so I get somebody in. So you delegate, you know, and in the modern day game. But many years ago, set pieces coaches are quite new. So, you know, I can understand it. Arsene Wenger didn't have one, but then we had experienced players in that situation. We did a zonal system and we marked in our zones, and it worked very well. In fact, he was like, OK, tell us where they're going to aim for the ball and we'll do the rest. But it doesn't seem as if they've got the players on the pitch ready to deal with it. They've got a goalkeeper who's a nervous wreck in those situations, and now it's looking like they do need a coach to come into that area. They're not spending enough time of it on the training pitch.
It looked like they tried to get the centre half, the defenders, even Richarlison, to actually almost sort of form a wall around him to give him a little bit more protection. But absolutely they need it. They need a set-piece coach. I mean, you look at Liverpool when they were really pushing for things under Jurgen Klopp. They had a throwing coach there as well. I mean, everyone's, you know, you were at Arsenal and he brought in, I'm sure, nutritionists. It suddenly was all broccoli. The game moves on, and now it's about set-piece coaches. So I'm sure Spurs will get one.
Why wouldn't you have an open mind to that? Henry, if you're the manager there and it's presented to you, say, yeah, correct, I'll bring that in. I think it says a little bit about the manager being a bit blocked. You know, let's have an open mind here. We know that there's a gap to fill. We need to get better. Okay, we'll bring somebody in. Doesn't mean to say that we're going to do everything that coach says. It just means that we can shared learning, and then we get better because of it. And it's like, you know, I don't think he's good enough as a manager, you know, in quite a few aspects. So I really like what he brings. I like the freshness. I like the way that they play, but they make basic mistakes.
Once again, the high line, like it was the first time around in the game between these two, that saw two Spurs players sent off and Nicholas Jackson score a hat-trick in a 4-1 victory for Spurs at home, of course, in front of their own fans. But that has been a key way in which Chelsea have exposed them in that first half. You just kind of wonder where Tottenham have been really, and the other end of the pitch, non-existent. Only 2 shots in that first half. They came alive a little bit just before the break, but we need to see much more from these Spurs forward players.
Just on that high line, it's been very interesting because Chelsea knew what was coming. They knew that they were going to play the high line, and you look at Mudryk, certainly in the first 10 minutes, he played 2 balls behind that high line for Jackson to run on, and it was only a fantastic clearance from Mickey van der Ven that actually sort of rescued them.
It was. I mean, this is the thing with, you know, but I like that concept of, you know, Arsenal, you know, it's like it's a brand new thing invented. You know, we used to play on the halfway line, hands up in the air, you might remember it. Yeah. You're maybe too young to remember it. But we condensed the space, so the game was played in the opposition's half. But it's obvious that the ball is actually, at some point, it's going to come out, and you need to be in the right position. I don't think Moreira is in position, Mario is in a position enough of the time.
Yeah.
I think he leaves it too much to the other fella alongside him, and I think balls are switched early and they're not in when you're in possession, be in position, and they're not, and it's like little mistakes that they just need. Maybe they need a defensive coach as well.
Martin, you're pushing his.
I was about to say,
because I could go in there, to be fair, and get away with that.
Martin, that offside trap that you used to play became so iconic, they actually used it in the film The Full Monty, didn't they?
They did, but that was before I messed it up a little bit for them when I came back in, but no, we quickly restored it. It was a valuable weapon.
Hey, there's something to be said for dropping off at times, Martin, as Spurs have probably shown us at this point in time, so don't you do yourself down, my friend. There's room for everyone in this game. Anyway, we'll be looking ahead to the second half very, very soon. Before we get there, let's take a quick look at the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
There's a buzz amongst the home fans here in Stamford Bridge. They believe their side will go on and win this. Chelsea to do that are now 4-7. The draw 14-5. Spurs to come back and win 9-2. For Nicholas Jackson to score in the game, we've got that at 4-1. Richarlison to score is 7-2. And for either team to win this match by the exact scoreline of 2-1 is now 10-3. Those were the half-time odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Slightly earlier kick-off time here this evening, of course, so they are still in the earlier stages in the games in Europe. 25 minutes on the clock, goalless in the Europa League semi-final first leg between Roma and Bayer Leverkusen. It's 1-1 between Marseille and Atalanta. In the Europa Conference League, live over on TalkSport 2, Aston Villa trail Olympiacos by a 0-0, and it's Fiorentina 1, Club Brugge 1. Super League just underway, well, 24 minutes on the clock. Catalan's Dragons lead Wigan by 8-0. Well, Spurs hate coming to Stamford Bridge, and for very good reason. Only one win in their last 38 trips here. At this stage, the only consolation for their travelling faithful is they'll only have to get the tube home. They're watching their Champions League hopes fade unless they can summon a second half fight back live and exclusive here on TalkSport. You're listening to Kick Off on TalkSport with Now, and don't forget, with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Chelsea versus Spurs, contract free with a Now membership. Just search Now Sports.
Kick off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
The Screwfix Bank Holiday event is now on. Make the most of the extra day off with unmissable deals. Like £30 off the Mountfield self-propelled petrol lawnmower. Now just $249.99. And save £10 on the DeWalt T-Stack tool storage system. Now only $19.99. Shop bank holiday deals now on the app at screwfix.com or in store. Delivery fees may apply. Prices valid until May 6, subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Perfect home. What? This isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Who are you going for in the racing today?
The favourite.
And tomorrow?
The favourite.
And the next day?
The favourite.
The Sun's horse racing pullout, The Favourite, is now in the paper 7 days a week. Yes, that's right. Every single day. Bringing you even more top tips, more form guides, more race cards, and all the colours and silks. Get your favourite pullout every day in the Sun, the home of racing. Uno is now available in McDonald's Happy Meal. So let's see who can shout Uno first.
Bring it on.
Yes, yes. Ooh, no, a wild card. Right, yes, back in the game. Yes, ooh, no, I draw one card.
Uno. Better luck next time.
Have fun with your Uno cards. Does that one count?
Nope.
Oh, some fun, some food. It's all inside this Happy Meal. Until 7th of May from 11 a.m. Includes one pre-selected book or toy. Uno range comprises toys only, while stocks last.
There will be 14 minutes of extra time. With
Betfair's 90-minute payout, you don't have to wait for the final whistle to celebrate. Because your winning bet will be paid out in full at 90 minutes. Betfair.
Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with a 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Mwah. When it's lunch o'clock, I just eat the tortilla naked burrito bowl.
Oh, I didn't know you could get those.
There's a lot you don't know, dear.
Well, I know that shirt's not coming back into fashion anytime soon.
Touché.
Get tortilla, Subway, Pret, and more delivered. For lunch and everything else.
Did somebody say just please?
Charges apply. Check available restaurants in your area and opening times on justeat.co.uk for details.
Kick off on TalkSport with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Chelsea versus Tottenham live today, contract free with a Now Sports membership. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
See the Sunday edition and the Sunday session on TalkSport? I always get the two of them mixed up. Session, edition, they sound like the same thing. It's dead confusing, which is why I've come up with a poem to help you tell them apart. Okay, here goes. There's the one called the Sunday edition, with two men on a weekly sports mission. The phone lines are humming, and Henry Winter is coming. So make it your morning must listen.
The Sunday edition, your unforgettable full-colour Sunday sports supplement with legendary football writers Henry Winter and Sean Custis. Hear all about it this Sunday morning from 9 on TalkSport.
Well, you are joining us back at Stamford Bridge here on kickoff, where Tottenham Hotspur trail Chelsea by a 0-0 in this London derby. It has been a game in which Chelsea have played far above what they have in many of their matches so far this season. They've really controlled the possession, they've controlled the chances. They could have had more. In the end, it's Trevor Chalobah's goal for another set piece that has put Chelsea in front. And Postecoglou, no matter what, will have to field more questions around their defending from the set piece situations a little bit later on when he speaks to the media. Remember, we'll have the interviews live here on TalkSport in the sports bar. Sam Matterface will go down and speak to Mauricio Pochettino and Postecoglou as well. Remember, you can have your say on everything, including the game over on TalkSport 2, where
questi qua se insegnano prima devi andare ancora più forte. L'accompagnamento dei giocatori che arrivano da dietro e il Leverkusen è allenato a servirli con gli esterni, per cui voglio concludere che fino a questo momento almeno al netto di una fase favorevolissima alla Roma, mentre attraverso di Lukaku le scelte anche di Xabi Alonso si stanno rivelando però questi bucate a campo aperto sta facendo bene. Attenzione alla Roma che viene in attacco con attacchi. Riesce a liberare l'area, poi c'è fallo su Chalobah, fallo di Christian. Però ne abbiamo parlato tanto di Grimaldo, ma anche Franco, che stagione ha fatto. E qui vorrebbe tanto essere in campo Selic, però paga l'espulsione nel ritorno con il Milan. Un'ottima squalifica. Dietro per Tapsoba. Adesso sai la cosa che mi piace tanto su levati si palleggiare, no? La zona di campo destra per cui poi c'è Buffon. Itapia. Dietro per Xhaka. Buffon adesso in posizione centrale. Dentro per
Aston Villa now trail Olympiacos by 2-0, just 32 minutes on the clock. Hit live a suspended 2-month ban after he admitted more breaches of the FA betting rules. He will not serve the ban if he does not commit any further breaches before the end of next season. Of course, he is already serving a 10-month ban which runs until August. What do you make of that decision?
I think that's just about right. I think you've got to remember he was putting those bets on and he hadn't yet been sanctioned, hadn't been punished. So I think really it's right and proper. I think maybe he's suffered enough. He's been out for a very long time and they've got that one right.
Henry Winter is also here alongside us. Do you agree with Martin?
Nuovo Volt Advance Go capsule molli. Azione antinfiammatoria mirata contro il dolore cervicale.
Do you know how to send money to Nigeria fast? Here's how. Download the Profi app. Sign up using your phone number and send
I think the fact that it was significant that he voluntarily offered to take a cut in wages, which I can't imagine too many footballers would do, but fair play to him because he'd let his new club down, so good for him for doing that. And you just wish him well because, and look, he's not alone in having, obviously we saw it with Ivan Toney, but there will be others out there who will see the punishment he's got, and I hope that they go and seek some therapeutic help as well, as he is now doing. And look, you have to wish him all well for the future because it is an illness that he's been suffering from.
On the wages front, by the way, it was something I did do when I went to Reading. I went to Steve Coppell and I was injured there for about 2-3 weeks, and I said, look, just don't pay me because it's embarrassing. I'm injured, I've come from Leicester, don't pay me my wages. He said, well, that was the first. But luckily I was fit, Henry, within a couple of weeks, so he didn't have to dock me any money.
But that is you, Martin, and I've known you a long time, and you've got principles like that, but not many do have.
No, I felt embarrassed though. It was just one of those situations. I wouldn't say Reading were paying me much money, Sam, as you yawning here, watching. But
Rolls Royce in the car park.
Sam's falling asleep here.
He did Reading a favour. He rocked up in his Bentley and said, don't pay me. Thank you very much, Martin Keown.
At least I didn't fly in a helicopter, like some of the players might have been.
The local Waitrose closed down as a result for 2 weeks.
And they were their sponsors.
We are just about to get the second half underway at Stamford Bridge. Spurs were out in a big huddle. Some choice words from their captain before this second half. They need to respond. It's Chelsea 1, Spurs 0 on TalkSport with the Arsenal legend Martin Keown alongside Sam Matterface.
8 years ago today, the Battle of the Bridge took place. An ill-tempered match. Drew won the league, but that officially stopped it. 12 players were booked in the match, including a Premier League record 9 from Tottenham. Moussa Dembele was hit with a 6-match ban for gouging the eye of Diego Costa. It was the kind of game that Martin Keown would have been at home in.
You're out of order, Sam. If he would just see me in one particular way. What about those light feet? Very good in a 1v1
Here's Richarlison inside the penalty area at the start of the second half as Tottenham come on the attack in white shirts and navy shorts, attacking the goal away to our left, the shed end, all in blue. Chelsea from left to right. Here is Brennan Johnson, and it's whipped through the penalty area and punched away by Jordan Petrovic from Pap Sarr's cross ball, which was menacing and well dealt with.
So much venom on that. Goalkeeper gets a hand to it, parries it away.
Gilchrist
done well, actually. Gilchrist, we didn't mention him, Sam, in that first half.
Van de Ven just edges Jackson off the ball. Referee says play on. We'll go through the 2 11s in just a second. There have been no changes at the start of the second half. But here comes Spurs. There's a change to their tempo. Son down the left, taking on Madueke. He's left-footed cross, takes a deflection, goes behind. It's away for a Spurs corner at the start of the second 45.
Madueke there, that's as important as anything he did in the first half, getting that foot in the way of that. You come back, you defend. He's done that for his team, but Spurs really, obviously there's a flea in their ear at half-time. Manager's got into them, and they've started really well here.
Go through the 2 11s for you in just a moment. There is some sorting out to do for Rob Jones again. Jordan Petrovic, the Chelsea goalkeeper, the back four. Gilchrist, Chalobah, Badiashile, Sean Cucurella, Caicedo and Gallagher in midfield, with Madueke on the right, Mudryk on the left, Palmer in the 10 and Jackson leading the line. It'll be Tottenham in just a second, but they have a corner to be taken far side. And they'll be whipped in by Pedro Porro, their right fullback. He hits it low, it's easily cleared away. In fact, there was a bit of pushing and shoving going on, which ended up with Cucurella clutching his face and heading to the floor. And that's going to be a free kick to Chelsea inside their box. So Tottenham have got Vicario in goal. His distribution a little bit wayward in that first half. Porro right back, Romero, Van de Ven and Royale, Sarr and Basuma, Kulusevski in the 10, Johnson right, Son left and Richarlison through the centre. Tottenham are rivalling Liverpool for second half performance markers. 20 of their 25 goals that they've scored in the league this calendar year have come in the second half of the game. So Chelsea will be wary of that. Van de Ven in a foot race with Jackson, usually only one winner. Van de Ven, who is as fast as a Lamborghini Sian, manages to stick it out towards the far side.
We're back to cars again. Van de Ven.
0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, that's why.
Van de Ven, though, is a player that what you do is just a change of pace. Can he deal with in a 1v1 situation? I think he's great in the channel when he gets there first, but but I think Isak showed.
Side header by Emerson Royale. It's a high, towering header from him, under pressure from Madueke, who'd come back from an offside position. The free kick is Tottenham's, and the ball is in their own half. Tottenham scoring more goals than usual. 67 goals they've scored this season. Only once before have they scored that many at this stage in the Premier League season. So they will be expected to test Jordan Petrovic a little bit more than they have done so far in the game. Romero gets it back to his goalkeeper Vicario. Gallagher putting the pressure on, constantly applying pressure. Oh, and they've given it away. Romero, and he's given it to Mudryk, and Mudryk's wasted the chance to feed Jackson. Rushed and hurried from Mudryk after a terrible ball by Romero.
See, that's down to your quality, isn't it? Mudryk there needs to be better. I don't want to take the young man apart, but that's just the difference, isn't it? That little bit of quality.
Madueke trying to side through the defence and play the ball into Mudryk again. This time Pedro Porro does just enough.
Like a long distance runner, Conor Gallagher in that midfield.
Covers more ground than most. He's got the ball again. Cucurella, left side, tries to push the ball infield again to no one in particular. Cucurella giving the ball straight back to Bissouma. Ball goes wide towards the right, where it's collected by Brennan Johnson. 1-0 to Chelsea, the score, as we approach the 5th minute of the second half. Clipped from right side out to the left by Bissouma. Taken down by Son. Son cutting in, then going on the outside, trying to tease Gilchrist. Gilchrist, who's stuck to his task very well tonight. And actually, there was only the most minimal of contact, but Son has gone down and generated a free kick in the left wing position.
Well, Gilchrist isn't arguing, so I assume it was a foul.
Well,
yeah,
that's
very good area
for you, I think, from Son, isn't it? You know, he knew there that he wasn't getting the better of him, so he had to draw the foul, did that, and now they've got a set piece.
Well, they'll set up Chelsea as a corner. It's just on the edge of the box, almost next to the byline.
Pedro Porro will strike this. I don't think he could go from the goal from here. It's a bit too tight, the angle. But he could fizz this right under the goalkeeper, and that could cause a real problem for Jordan Petrovic, who was bought in from the MLS as an understudy to Robert Sanchez, but has been pretty much the #1 for most of the season. I'll try and dip this one up over the wall and into that area of a real sea of players inside the 6-yard box. It's right-footed by Romero into that area, flicked away by Chalobah, out towards the edge of the box, and then taken by Caicedo, who's trying to bound past his former Brighton teammate. The two with a big collision over on that far side. It goes out of play, and Cucurella wants to get on with it quickly, and he throws the ball into Jackson, and Jackson now is escaping over the halfway line, down the left. Madueke in the centre, Palmer to his right, Palmer inside the penalty area, bent the ball well over the top of the crossbar, and Van de Ven and Vicario are going mad at Christian Romero, who went off up on his jaunt going forward and didn't get back to help out when the move fell down.
But you know, that was the one player you wanted on the ball there, didn't you? Palmer, Madueke there. You wondered, okay, is he going to make the right call? He just rolls it to Palmer, and he's leaning back, and the quality's not there in the finish. He's human, Palmer.
Well, he missed the chance against Aston Villa, didn't he, late in the game against Unai Emery's team, when you usually would have thought that he would have put it away. Here's Kulusevski after a good run down the left-hand side, looking to feed Richarlison at the near post, tries to suck it home, doesn't. It's blocked by Badiashile, and it goes out for another corner to Tottenham. They have started the second half with more intent. 1-0 to Chelsea.
It is literally end-to-end stuff.
Here is Pedro Porro, flicking the ball into the centre, away by Cucurella, whose header flicks the ball out towards the far side. It runs out for a throw-in. Kamsar will take it down by the corner flag in front of the West Stand. The Tottenham fans away to our left in the shed end, half of the shed end occupied by those visitors from North London. And Chelsea fans certainly trying to raise the noise levels inside Stamford Bridge. They know this is a key moment for them. They are chasing Europe. They want to get above Newcastle, West Ham and Manchester United and move into European positions, the European positions that will go down to 7th for a Conference League place. Van de Ven running down a bit of a cul-de-sac, Chelsea hounding the ball, turning the ball over, and well, Madueke and Gilchrist are penalised on this near side for a foul on Son. And if Chelsea had got away with that and won the ball, then they would have been away on the halfway line. Tottenham were exposed.
Yeah, Gilchrist's been asked some questions here by Son. He's finally decided to enter into this match.
He's in behind Gilchrist now, receives the ball, but from an offside position. Flag is up, going to be a free kick on the edge of the box for Chelsea.
He fell asleep there.
Well, Chelsea have had their issues over the course of the season. At the front of the team, but also at the back. Their defensive numbers still very much a concern. 59 goals they've conceded at this stage of the season. It's the most they've conceded at this stage of a league campaign for 45 years. 1978-79, the last time they conceded this many goals. Palmer, lovely touch. Caicedo, and now Jackson through the middle. Vicario's read that and come out. His starting position was good.
Nice flowing move, wasn't it? But this is where Chelsea now needs to game manage, keep the ball. You know, kind of like it's end-to-end. They need to try and control things here, Chelsea, because Spurs are really up for it second half.
Yeah, and Chelsea have made the most errors leading to shots in the Premier League this season. Second on that list?
Spurs.
Correct. Here is Cucurella over on the far side, trying to squeeze the ball away from Brennan Johnson. It bounces off Brennan Johnson, the Welshman, and out for another throw-in over on the far side to Chelsea. I think they just need to ride this storm, Chelsea, if they want to get all 3 points here.
I just wanted to prove that I'd read those stats that you sent me.
There you go. I like you to do your revision before our exams. Here is Caicedo.
I haven't read all of it though, but anyway.
Listen, don't undersell yourself. You passed your test, that's it. Just take it. Take the grades. Martin Kieran will be back tomorrow between 10 and 1 with Simon and Jim. Looking forward to that. Always a spicy encounter when you walk into the studio.
Oh, I don't know. It's all good fun, Sam.
We listen, that is one thing we do.
Don't do it if you don't enjoy it.
You and I have done that show a couple of times, and we've had a brilliant time every time we've had the pleasure of doing it. Here is Johnson over on the far side, pinching the ball away from Gallagher. Chelsea created this attack by giving the ball away from a goal kick. Goes out for a Spurs throw, and they're back on the offensive again. Still 2-0 to Olympiacos as they approach half-time. Oh, Palmer's picked the ball up and moved forward up towards the halfway line. He thought he'd escaped there, but there was a free kick given.
He didn't give it initially, the referee, did he? He let play. Yeah. I think it's the right call, by the way. He should have given a free kick, but he seemed to let play go. Conor Gallagher made a foul there, Basuma.
Aston Villa on spin. Madueke, he's got Jackson through the centre. Across comes Emerson Royale and just steps across him, snaffles the ball up and takes it away for Tottenham.
They look a yard sharper, don't they, Sam, second half, Spurs?
Yep. Look like they've just got the wind in their sails as well, and Chelsea will have to be aware of that. Spurs need to put more points on the board to put pressure on Aston Villa. If they were to lose tonight and Villa were to win on Sunday, hopes of the Champions League would be gone. Pedro Porro floating the ball from right to left towards this near side. Gilchrist heads it away. It's down as far as Son. Son gets away from Madueke, spins towards the edge of the area. Tackle comes in from Caicedo. And it was a good clean tackle as well. But Kulusevski's won it back again. Gilchrist has got to get there ahead of Kulusevski. And he comes across, he thunders the ball out. Look at the reaction. Away for a throw. Well, they love him. They love him.
One of their own, isn't he?
When they read his name out on the tannoy, I was at Wembley the other week when they won the noise battle, but not the football match. And he got the biggest cheer. Here's Johnson on the right-hand side. Ball into the box, blocked by Cucurella. And out on the far side it goes.
Gosh, that was important, wasn't it, from Cucurella there? Just about got a block in. Johnson again, probing, direct.
Nearly hitting the hour mark on TalkSport on a pivotal night in the Premier League for both these two teams. Chelsea lead by a goal to nil on TalkSport with Now, and don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Chelsea Tottenham live right now, contract free with a Now Sport membership. Search Now Sports. Basuma getting the ball back to Christian Romero. He's got a bit of space to run into, kicks the ball over the top, looking for Kulusevski. He brings the ball down, but gives it straight to Cucurella. Cleared by Chalobah upfield. Van de Ven with a header in front of Jackson, who does occupy his thoughts, and that was a handball by Romero. Went unpunished by the referee, Rob Jones. He was under pressure from Mudryk, and he sort of slipped and touched the ball away with his hand. He was lucky. Here's Madueke, shrugging aside Kulusevski, feeding Cole Palmer. Chelsea on the attack down the right. He faces up Emerson Royale, cuts inside, then comes on in the inside. Right-footed ball into the box, blocked by Van de Ven. It comes back out towards the near touchline, and then it goes out for a throw-in.
Emerson Royale nearly gave his buy a ticket there, didn't he, to get back in the ground? Such was the disguise on that from Palmer. Brilliant. He certainly fooled me, I tell you.
Gilchrist back to Chalobah.
Keep your eye on the ball if you're a good young defender. Don't be taken in by all those body movements.
Palmer, again, more space. Plays it out wide. Madueke takes on Emerson Royale at a tough evening. Cuts in past him, squeezes through a tight gap into the area, cuts it through the box. It's blocked by Papsar, who was marking Cole Palmer, who was the intended target, but it's another dynamic, direct run from Noni Madueke. Conor Gallagher's hardly done anything here. He's been penalised for just pressurising Basuma. Basuma then tried to turn his back to block Gallagher's advances.
Look at him,
and Gallagher ran into him, and the free kick was given. I think that was generous.
Yeah, you're right. But look, Conor Gallagher, look, he's setting the tone for the fans, isn't he? Look, he's running after everything. He knows this Chelsea team needs to lift here because Spurs are starting to play well.
Madueke gets the better of Emerson Royale. Once again, this time robbing him of the ball, bringing it through the centre circle, finding Gallagher onto Palmer. Royale has to get back into position. Taken infield by Palmer. Happy to slow it down now, Chelsea, with Palmer on the ball and in possession. 61 minutes on the clock. Chelsea lead by a goal to nil. Half-time in the Europa Conference League. 2-1 to Olympiacos on TalkSport 2. Here's Brennan Johnson on the attack, down the right side. Moves into an advanced area. Doesn't get a cross in, leaves it for Papsar. He then feeds Pedro Porro, and it's pushed away by Jordan Petrovic. Comes back to the edge of the area. Papsar into Son. Not a great ball, but he got hold of it, the South Korean. Back to Papsar, right side. Edge of the D is Basuma. Tottenham pressure again here. 62 on the clock. Johnson, back to Papsar, needs to find an incisive delivery, gives it to Son, he can do that, flicks it round the corner, but it was a bit nonchalant, it was cut out by Badiashile and cleared away. Chelsea getting a bit deep here. Sarr flicks it from one side to the other, Gilchrist brings it down and then shovels it forward, headed away by Van de Ven. Royale out jumps Palmer, ball bounces through the centre circle, collected by Papsar. Again Tottenham come forward. Johnson slows up, twirls infield, gives it into Pedro Porro. Porro slides it to Papsar, bit of space, tries to do something acrobatic on the edge of the box when there was no need to be so inventive. There was time and space to stop the ball and get his shot away. He panics. And then it comes back to Emerson Royale, who shoots from distance, and it's well over the top of the crossbar.
Do you know that concentrated effort there from Spurs? Really good attacking. Chalobah gives the ball away cheaply. Plays it into midfield, Cucurella loses it, and then they spend the next 2 or 3 minutes hanging on. They've got to use the ball better, Chelsea. And I know it's a young side, it's about game management and learning all those things, but I'm not sure really where the leaders are on that pitch. I've seen Conor Gallagher with his performance, running after the ball. He's like the work ethic, he's dictating, but you do need a couple of others in that team, some leaders.
Højbjerg, Bentancur and Maddison are on. Basuma is off. Who else comes off? Sarr's come off, hasn't he? In the middle of the park. He's been replaced. Maddison helping the ball forward towards Son. Johnson on this near touchline, tries to take on Gilchrist, infield towards Son. Son back to Emerson Royale. Højbjerg with an effort after just coming off the bench, and it's straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. So a little bit of a rejig as far as Tottenham are concerned. Richarlison was the other one that came off, so it means that Son's gone through the middle now. Johnson's come out to the left, Kulusevski's gone out to the right, Maddison's playing in the 10, Bentancur and Højbjerg are the two holders in midfield. What do you think that'll do?
Well, I mean, we'll get Son into the game for a start, and you've got Maddison as well breaking, haven't you, from that midfield, so you've now got another one in there who can create.
Højbjerg, who was criticised on Sunday after his own goal, and a rather defensive choice, I think, from Ange Postecoglou was the feeling of the Tottenham supporters, but he's in the team now as they search for an equaliser. Well, Maddison's gone down after a challenge from Badiashile. The Chelsea fans aren't happy about it. Maddison was desperate for the free kick and got it.
I think Maddison's just fallen over, actually, and then the defenders fell on top of him.
Here comes Kulusevski, looking to try and feed the ball into the path of Bentancur. Across comes Badiashile, and he pops it off over on the far side and away for a throw-in. There's 25 minutes to go, and for all of their good work in the second half, Petrovic hasn't had to make any proper saves. The interventions that he's made have usually been from crosses that have been flashed into the box.
Exactly, that seems to be the order of the day. Lots of crosses going into the box from Spurs, but not anybody on the end of them.
Only had one shot on target in the game, Tottenham Hotspur, with 25 to go. Palmer is fouled by Bentancur, who's just come into the fray, and it's going to be a free kick about 12 yards outside the penalty area over on the left, and it remains 1-0 to Chelsea. And before tonight, the Opta supercomputer said that Spurs had just a 14% chance of reaching the top four this season. How will that have changed, do you think, tonight? Well, if they lose this, it will have reduced significantly. Here's Bentancur feeding the ball out to the near touchline. Brennan Johnson going up against Gilchrist, trying to get a low cross into the box, which is blocked by the Chelsea man. Comes back out as far as Bentancur, left side of the area. Not a great ball by Emerson Royale, and Van de Ven has to scurry across on the halfway line to retrieve it. Back to Johnson again, a chance to run at Gilchrist once more. Runs up to the penalty area, goes to go on the outside, but before he can manipulate the ball, Gilchrist is straight in there, and it's behind and away for a corner kick to Tottenham.
Yeah, they need to show some quality now. Spurs, a little bit more composure. It's a bit hurried at times since they made the changes.
Maddison to take the corner from the near touchline. Left hand in the air. He's got 5 to aim at in the centre. It's a decent delivery, but away by Badiashile. Out as far as Van de Ven, and he's had the ball pinched, and Jackson has robbed it, and he's got green grass to run into. Then Van de Ven has come back and brought him down. That's going to be a yellow card.
Really well there, Jackson, doesn't he? Takes it out of his goal mouth, travels with the ball. Van de Ven, you're thinking it's going to be a great race here, and he just fouls him. Doesn't take the risk.
Well, he didn't want Jackson to get away and gallop into opposition territory. There was a long way for him to go because he picked the ball up on the edge of his own penalty area, really, Jackson. And he now wants a bit of treatment. If he does collect treatment from the physios, then he will have to come off the field of play for 30 seconds. He's been discouraged in doing so by Conor Gallagher and the referee, and the free kick is Chelsea's. A couple of steps inside the Tottenham half of the ground.
He's blessed though, isn't he? He's blessed with pace, Jackson.
Yeah.
You know, that's a commodity, a big commodity in the game right now. It's just how you use it, of course.
Ball bent round the back of the defence, and it goes into the path of Van de Ven, who under pressure from Palmer does play it clear. Højbjerg and gives it back to his goalkeeper. Vicario's being chased here. Gallagher's on the scene again before Romero can get rid of it, and he has to step inside him and play it out. Comfortably does that. It's into Bentancur. Maddison wanted it. Maddison got it. Flicked it through to Son, and Son now runs up towards the edge of the area, and he feeds Johnson left side, bit of space. Feeds the ball to the far post. It's a teasing delivery that no one can convert. And sliding in inside the penalty area, Emerson Royale missed it by a whisker.
Lovely worked ball, wasn't it? Into the box from one end of the pitch to the other from Spurs. Johnson just rolling it across the penalty box. Royale couldn't get there. Lovely move though. good use of Maddison in the build-up. He's now in there, playing off the front, goes into Son, comes out wide, and I think Johnson, he could have taken it on actually, Sam. He could have had a shot, but he's tried to put it in the path, hasn't he, of Emerson Royale, and he doesn't make it.
Well, he should have had a 8th assist of the season there. Brennan Johnson, Emerson Royale not quite quick enough to get up and poke that home. That was a great opportunity for Tottenham to get back into this game. They trail by a 1-0 on TalkSport. Currently, if you want to get on and place a bet, you can do with Ladbrokes. Right now you can get Chelsea to win by 2 goals. Chelsea to win at 2-1 on. The draw 7-1. 5-2 is the draw. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes, 18+ BeGambleAware.org. Here is Brennan Johnson getting a bit of troubling news from the game at Villa Park, where a medical emergency has meant that players had to have been halted. More details in just a second. Here is James Maddison into the penalty area, stopped by Conor Gallagher. He takes it towards the near side and draws a foul. So that game over on TalkSport 2 at this moment in time has been stopped because of a medical emergency in the crowd at Villa Park tonight, and they've stopped the game as a result of that. So that game will take a little bit longer to come to its conclusion, and when it does conclude, it will conclude on TalkSport 2. 20 minutes to go here, and it's Chelsea who lead by a 1-0. If you're Ange Postecoglou, have you made all of the significant changes you're thinking of making?
Yeah, I think, well, do you know what the significant is? Maddison, he's just becoming more and more prominent in the game and getting on that ball, and if he can get good service into those front players, they might be able to turn this around a little bit, because it's a young team here. If they get that next goal, Spurs, it could be really testing for this Chelsea group.
This is the difference there. I mean, despite spending £1 billion, Tottenham have been able to bring on Maddison to influence the game in their direction, and Chelsea have got a collection of players that hardly have played in the first team and teenagers.
Yeah, and of course Bentancur as well. Højbjerg, experienced players, but they've got to get their experience somewhere, haven't they? And there's been some good performances here tonight from Chelsea. We've got to use the ball well.
Onto Gallagher, couldn't bring it in, and to win that, there's a foul by Kulusevski as Kukurea gets his body across the Swede and wins the free kick in a good position. That was naive from Kulusevski.
Well, and do you know what? You know, if you're a Spurs fan, you're angry with that because it's a silly free kick. He keeps doing it as well, all over the pitch. He let Chelsea off the hook here when they were penned in at the top end with Gallagher, and he's just done it again here, and this is Palmer territory. You can see him coming alive. Suddenly he looks a foot taller. He's got his hand on the ball. He's measuring this one up.
Well, reaction to this game. Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara on the sports bar. Have your say, National Radio 3717 2233 44. That's the number to call. Pochettino and Postecoglou will be on your radio live tonight. Jason Cundy is here actually. He's getting a motorbike back to TalkSport Towers to take your call straight after the game. Free kick to Chelsea, dead centre. Palmer to hit it towards the near corner. It's the underside of the bar, and then the header is in from Jackson, who nods in the rebound, and Chelsea have a 2-0 lead. Jackson slides over towards the Chelsea fans in the corner of the Matthew Harding end, and Pochettino punishes Postecoglou once again. The first man to beat him this season in the Premier League may just have crushed his Champions League dream. Chelsea 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Palmer's free kick off the bar. Jackson quickest to react. Tottenham asleep, and maybe it's good night to the Champions League as well.
Well, let's call him Cool Palmer, because look, such quality. It comes off the bar, and then there's Jackson, 5 yards out, just heads it in. It's a good reaction, but it's a wonderful free kick, and then got to hand it to Jackson, who reacts first. He just loops his header in. But look at the quality. Just having another look at this. Beautiful free kick. Keeper is like beating all arms up, and then in comes Jackson. No one really reacting quick enough from a Spurs point of view, and it's 2-0.
Højbjerg and Son were wrestling on the goal line, trying to decide who was going to hook it clear. None of them got there, and you could see the agony etched on the face of Højbjerg as he saw it loop from Jackson's head beyond him and over the line. Here come Tottenham at the other end. Johnson miskicks it. Well, the ball was centred from the right side from Højbjerg, and Johnson got in on goal, and he just bluffed his lines, sort of slipped and hit the ball into the ground.
Yeah, he didn't really. I mean, if you call that ball, when you plant your foot next to the ball, it's like the adjuster. He didn't adjust, and he swings at it, and it goes agonisingly wide. That was a great opportunity. He was getting straight back in this.
Well, the Chelsea fans are revelling in this. They used to call Tottenham's former home 3 Points Lane.
But it was Arsenal who used to call it that.
You might have had your own sayings, but I know that Chelsea had a terrific run of victories there. And here, only once in 38 Premier League meetings have Spurs come and taken 3 points from Stamford Bridge. And once again, Chelsea, even when Tottenham are above them, looking down on them in the Premier League table, still managed to summon a performance against their rivals from North London. Mudryk is off and Cesare Casadei is on. He is the only member of the bench who isn't Marcus Bettinelli, that is over the age of 21. He's the only one who'd be out to have a little drink on the American tour, which they've been advertising here over the course of the afternoon and evening. And Tottenham getting a little bit frustrated now. Bentancur is bellowing at the referee. And Chelsea are 15 minutes away from another victory. Tottenham have got to conjure something in that final quarter of an hour. How many times have we seen games turn, though, late in matches this season? So many. Tottenham can't give up the ghost just yet. Here is Johnson, dispossessed by Madueke. And do you know what? Last night I was watching the Dortmund game. Karim Adeyemi, the German winger, did such a great job getting back and helping out his fullback, Ian Martson, who was on loan from Chelsea, actually, that it drew the attention of everybody who was watching, just talking about wingers tracking back, doing the work.
Madueke there.
And Madueke's done it.
Yeah, and here they are on the charge again. You see, they win the ball back well, Chelsea. It's nearly a free kick there, edge of the box. Spurs come back again.
Yeah, Jackson went scything through and then he got pulled down by Romero. Referee said play on. At the other end, Kulusevski now attacking, taking on Cucurella, and Cucurella has made a very good intervention. It's gone behind and away for a corner, but actually his defensive work has been better tonight so far.
Much sharper. You know, okay, you're going to go into midfield, you've got to bounce back quickly. It seems that tonight Chelsea doing all those basic jobs correctly now. 2-0 looking good, but they're very strong on set pieces for Spurs. There's an opportunity here.
13 and a half minutes to go. Chelsea lead by 2 goals to 0. Nicholas Jackson and Chalobah with them. Ball in towards the near post. Van de Ven sort of almost heads it out of the penalty area. It comes back to Kulusevski on the right angle of the box. He switches away from Caicedo, goes back out to the far side. The cross into the box from Maddison, takes a deflection, bounces inside the area. No one's taken charge. Casadei goes to do that. A bit of an elevated foot, but he gets away with it. Madueke then couldn't control it as he tried to nudge it into the path of Jackson, and there is a problem inside the penalty area for Christian Romero. And we're seeing a replay of the Jackson goal. Did well to get the height on it. I just, every time I look at it though, I think surely one of those Spurs players could have got it off the line.
Yeah, but you know, your eyes, you're drawn to the ball, aren't you? And that's what they were. They've got to go to the man. Go to Jackson, and none of that happens. And they're scrambling back to the goal line, and that's not what you do in that situation.
So whose is the failing there?
Well, the failing is that you've got to pick up Jackson. So if Jackson can get there, why can't you as the defender? It's about reading it. He's the only person expecting that ball to come back off the bar.
15 goal attempts for Chelsea. 4 shots on target, 2 goals. The Spurs have been much better in the second half than they were in the first, but as Chelsea have got the goal in this second period. They made another change here. Johnson has come off and Brian Hill has come on. on this left-hand side. A little bit surprised by that, because I think Johnson actually has been quite bright tonight.
I agree.
Here is Hill down this left side, the ball in towards the near post by Emerson Royale. He's clutched by Petrovic, and it will be cleared away. And Chelsea have thrived in London derbies this season. Only Arsenal have won more. Tottenham, if they were able to claw this back, would go level with Chelsea in that London derby table, but it looks very much as if Chelsea are going to get away from them. Jackson didn't get away from Van der Ven on this occasion. The challenge came in and he nudged it out towards this near side. They are very reliant on Mickey Van der Ven's pace, aren't they?
They are, and he's limping around a little bit. He's up again it tonight against Jackson, who's really fast himself.
Kulusevski drips across into the box, looking for Brian Hill. Glancing header, gets it away from Hill. It's Madueke who did the...
Yeah, how many times have we said that tonight?
It's been good. Villa back underway, by the way, on Talk Sport 2. Cole Palmer's got it. Hesitates, waits, didn't play the easy ball through Jackson because he knew it was going to be difficult for him to find. Played it to Caicedo, who doesn't get his ball right, and he looks to the sky and screams at himself in frustration. He knows a better way to pass would have put Jackson in. Tussle going on between Maddison and Caicedo in the middle of the park. Chelsea will have to defend now as Tottenham come forward. Højbjerg out to Maddison, back to the left, and Brian Hill. Score is Chelsea 2, Tottenham 0 on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps 120,000 people every day. Hill trying to get down the outside of the box. He swirls and turns it back. His shaggy hair flowing in the light breeze. He's never scored a goal for Tottenham Hotspur. And he is on to try and drag them back to parity here. They need 2 goals in the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, Chelsea, every single player back behind the ball, which is becoming in vogue, isn't it? See Arsenal do this an awful lot, and no way through for Spurs. Need to move the ball quicker, Sam.
Maddison trying to spin the ball into the box. He does that, but there's no one there to attack it, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick to Chelsea, away to our left-hand side. The Sports Bar on air from 10 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow, Alan Brazil and Ray Parlour back together on TalkSport Breakfast from 6 a.m. And if you fancy something different, you could manage to switch your radio to Virgin Radio on DAB, or you can download our app and flick between them all. Chris Evans is on the breakfast show from 6:30. We've got a big day of football on Saturday. The final day of the championship takes place on Saturday. All the goals they go in from all the important games. Live commentary from Ipswich against Huddersfield. One of 9 commentaries that we're bringing you this weekend, including Bank Holiday Monday. Arsenal Bournemouth is one of those. Palace Manchester United is another. Barnsley Bolton in the playoff semi-final first leg is another. And we got Sheffield United against Nottingham Forest, which is live on Saturday afternoon on TalkSport 2. We've got all the ones that matter this weekend on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. 9 minutes to go before the break. This one matters to Spurs. It matters to Chelsea fans as well, and they lead it by 2 goals to 0. Maddison into Højbjerg. Højbjerg out wide towards the right, collected now by Pedro Porro, trying to poke it forward. Cucurella was there, standing his ground. Back to Pedro Porro. 20 yards from the edge of the penalty area is Højbjerg. Then it's Emerson Royale. He steps forward, plays it left. Taken on by Brian Hill, looking to take on Madueke, who just says, nah, he's not going past me.
He just swatted him, didn't he? And look, Madueke there is getting a really big round of applause here as he comes forward on this near side. They're letting him know, aren't they? We really appreciate what you're doing.
He's an England under-21 international, Noni Madueke. He thrived after leaving the Tottenham Academy in Dutch football. Was purchased by Chelsea last summer. Well, actually, this is the January before that, wasn't it? And he played at the end of last season a couple of times and got into the team at the beginning of this campaign. Had a few injuries, was in and out, but he's played the last 7 games.
Good energy around him tonight. It looks a really good addition now to this Chelsea team.
He's got to play like this consistently, though, hasn't he?
He has.
Not just against the team that he left 4 or 5 years ago.
Not just a one-off. And I think what's stood out is his defensive side of his game, and we know he can play when he runs with the ball. His decision-making's been good tonight as well.
All-round very good performance from Noni Madueke. Chelsea, I think, will be satisfied with their performance up until this point, but there's 83 minutes on the clock, not 90, and there's still a way to go. Petrovic fires it forward, straight out of play, and he goes for a throw-in.
That looked nervous.
Now, it's interesting, isn't it, with Jordan Petrovic, because he certainly wasn't brought in to be someone who's played this many games over the course of the season, but he's had to, as a circumstance. Here's Palmer, darting down the right-hand side, waiting for Bentancur to join him. Then he feeds Jackson. Jackson plays it against the Uruguayan. It bounces out for a throw into Chelsea, level with the edge of the penalty area. Gilchrist has got a bit of cramp down in front of us.
Looking a bit tired, actually, aren't they? Some of these youngsters. Palmer a little bit there. Gilchrist has gone down with cramp.
Chelsea going to make another change, I think. And Josh Ashiapom is about to come on. And he's a full-back. I wonder whether he will go to left back and Kukurea will come to right back when he comes on. He's well thought of. He's huge for a full-back. There's Josh Ashiapom. Hasn't made his senior debut yet. He is not 18 until May the 5th. So there's a little early 18th birthday present.
Wow. I went on loan actually at that age.
Did you?
Didn't get near the Arsenal first team till I was 19.
Where'd you go on loan?
Brighton.
Did you? Oh yes,
Yeah.
You enjoyed your time there, didn't you?
Cheeky little 23 matches. Robinson's young player of the month. Barley Water player of the month.
What'd you get for that?
I didn't actually get the prize. I don't know where it went, but
off comes Gilchrist. Standing ovation from the Chelsea supporters. Local boy, as you heard earlier, once went to the QPR Academy, only briefly, and his granddad didn't speak to him as a result. It's a Chelsea family, he's a Chelsea boy, and the Chelsea fans appreciate his efforts. He's replaced by Josh Ashiapong.
And they all want to speak to him now, don't they? He's one of their favourites. Really important to have these youngsters coming through here. See the affinity the fans have with their homegrown players is standing out here tonight.
Lo Celso on for Emerson Royale for the final few moments of the game as well. And Lo Celso comes on looking like he's wearing tracksuit bottoms. His socks are pulled up so close to the edge of his shorts. There's a foul on Caicedo by Bentancur. And that's going to be a free kick to Chelsea on the right angle of the penalty area on this near side. Chelsea 2, Tottenham 0 on TalkSport. With Enterprise rent a car, whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Chelsea fans are revelling in it now, giving the Tottenham fans a bit of jip. They're starting to leave, go down the emergency exits. They've seen enough. They know that the game is up, and the game might be up for the Champions League as well.
Well, they've gone home early, and their season's ending early, isn't it?
This is going to be the 14th time they've failed to win in the last 24 games. A bright season has been wasted. Palmer's delivery in towards the edge of the... Oh, it's right underneath the crossbar, and it's pushed over the top by the retreating Vicario. I think it was a routine save from Vicario, but he made it look...
He certainly did, didn't he? It kind of goes... It's going over the back of him, and he thinks suddenly he panics at the last and then tips it over.
2-2 in the game at Villa Park. So they're back on terms, Aston Villa. Live on TalkSport 2. They're into the 8th minute of the second half there.
It is an equaliser.
It is an equaliser.
Wow.
I made one mistake and you picked up on it.
No. It's not a mistake. It's 2-2 and Villa are back in it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Great.
At least you're here to correct me anyway. It's always good to have
I'm just thinking about the poor Villa fans.
Have a good skipper. Well, if they're Villa fans, I'm sure they're listening to TalkSport 2. Here is Palmer down the left-hand side, conspiring with Gallagher, trying to twirl away under pressure from Lo Celso. From the corner, they get it back to Caicedo. He's gone back down the left, and Palmer's trying to keep it in. He might just, didn't quite. Goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. 2.5 minutes of normal time to play. And Chelsea will be pretty satisfied, about to go 8th in the league. Stop rubbing my back now. That's not going to get you out of it. Seventh is the limit for a European place. They've only lost once now in 18 home games since the start of November. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, as I say, they've been quite consistent at home. It's just away from home at times. It hasn't been obviously the goals that they've been shipping. Quite got as many goals as well. They've got more goals this season, haven't they, than they had certainly last year.
Well, they keep scoring goals, that's for sure. This is, I think, the 8th home game in a row that they've scored 2 or more goals. Here is Palmer down the right-hand side. Good feet to get away from Bentancur. Tried to play it against the Uruguayan and win a throw-in. Didn't quite happen for him. And Tottenham have got it back again. Chelsea lead by 2 goals to nothing. Here is Lo Celso onto Maddison, infield to Brian Hill, then back out left where Bentancur is waiting for it. Spurs just haven't had the answers to Chelsea's greater commitment and desire to see this over the line. Spurs have wilted in the heat of Stamford Bridge, not for the first time. And with their Champions League participation on the line, they haven't delivered. Again, Caicedo and Maddison flare up down in front of us as Bentancur, a speculative effort with 0 venom, trickles into the hands of a grateful Petrovic.
I think Caicedo is now starting to look the part in there. He's putting tackles in. I think Maddison wasn't happy. A little bit of a reducer on him. Hasn't had the impact he would have wanted coming on.
What will Ange Postecoglou say today? Because technically they've scored Chelsea 2 goals from set pieces.
Exactly.
And it's going to be just 1 victory in 8 Premier League away games if it stays like this for Spurs. And that fading after such a bright start, where they were unbeaten in the first 9 games of the campaign, has been quite severe. They've dropped off in terms of the goals they've conceded. They're averaging 2 a game that they're shipping since November.
They did though, didn't they? Lost both central defenders, 1 to injury and 1 to suspension.
Not for that long though.
But I think
here is Bentancur inside the penalty area. Gallagher gets across and snapples it up and puts it out for a corner.
You see how he's policing it again, Gallagher? You know, he's taking responsibility, comes back, and he's the player that sorts that out. Really good ball into the box, and he's there to deny another opportunity for Spurs.
7 seconds of normal time still to play. 4th official's got the board up now. It's into Lo Celso, left side, low cross into the box, looking for Son. Was there a handball there? Back from Son to Lo Celso, dancing his way, hits it against Ashiapong, comes back out to the edge of the area. Maddison deflected over the bar. 6 minutes of added time at the end of the game.
Well, credit Spurs. They've shown a bit of pride here.
If they can get one back now, they might think they can get 2. How many times have games changed this season late on in Premier League matches, just when you think the... above West Ham United in the table. Olympiacos get a 3rd goal at Villa Park. It's absolute action stations at Villa Park tonight. 3-2 the score now. Cucurella pinches the ball ahead of Pedro Porro, runs it out on the far side, needs a bit of help but decides to stop, give it back to Casadei, and Chelsea bring it clear. Caicedo, lovely turn into Jackson. Madueke wants it played through the middle. He didn't do it, and there was loads of space. In fact, there were 3 Chelsea shirts and only 1 defender. Here is Bentancur at the other end, out towards the right. Son, the game stretched. Bentancur in towards the near post, didn't catch it right. It's well wide. What a chance at the other end, because if Jackson plays the ball through to Madueke, he's onside, he gets a free run on goal.
Yeah, and again, you know, is he kind of like the pats on the back for the goal he scores? He's moved the ball quicker. It's another one. Bentancur, though, by the way, it's a bit of a sloppy finish, isn't it?
It's scruffy.
Yeah, he could have. Look, he's got a great opportunity there. I mean, Spurs still creating opportunities, but really don't seem to have the killer instinct in front of goal. I've seen lots of balls flash across that goal tonight. And is it a good ball when you don't pick someone out? I would argue that they're not good balls coming in there. Well, someone has to get on the end of it, Sam.
There's no doubt that Tottenham have been better in the second half than they were in the first, Martin, but they haven't troubled, panicked or harassed that Chelsea defence. Bearing in mind that you're now looking at this Chelsea defence, it's got a kid who's never played before at right back, Chalobah, who's only really come into the team in the second half of the season, Badiashile and Cucurella as your back 4. You would expect a Tottenham attack that has scored so many goals this season to do a little bit more.
Yeah, no Harry Kane, we know. We haven't mentioned
Maddison from distance, shooting way over the top of the bar.
Not good enough. You know, again, he's losing that little bit of quality, Maddison. No patience. Needed to get another pass in, get closer to the goal. look a bit toothless up there, don't they?
Is Pochettino going to get a little bit more credit because he has come under fire, friendly fire sometimes from those, although he says online they might give him some stick, but when they meet him walking his dog, they're all very polite to him, the Chelsea fans.
I wonder whether that moment with where they're all fighting over the ball, all of them like children, aren't they? And whether that's a moment that actually changed things.
Against Everton.
Against Everton, because since then, okay, I know that they got, Arsenal took them apart, but there was a few people missing. No Palmer, of course, 50% of their goals have been created through him. But tonight, when they put their best team out, they've looked very respectable here. Jackson's coming off, by the way.
He is, and he is being replaced by Jimmy Turianen. He's making his second appearance, his first in the Premier League. He came off the bench against Leeds in the FA Cup. And Jackson gets his applause after scoring the second goal. I wonder whether or not those players that supporters who are now giving Turianen the welcome he deserves for his first Premier League appearance, when they go up to Pochettino in the street, are a little bit cowed by the fact that he's got a Rhodesian Ridgeback dog, which is quite a scary, big, massive thing. So that's maybe why they're nice to him, to his face, you reckon? I wouldn't argue with one of them, that's for sure. He said that was a possibility yesterday in the press conference. Actually, Pong gets the better of Hill and then sends the ball long. Vicario comes out of his goal. He's got to be clean with his delivery here. He is. He gets it over Turianen and sends it out towards the near side, and Spurs go on the attack again. 95th minute of the game. Caicedo doing brilliantly to get in front of his marker and push it behind, but that's a serious point. Pochettino probably does need a little bit of credit with the 14 players from the first team unavailable tonight.
Has that somehow made it easy? Probing, but then again at the end of it they let themselves down.
Well, Tottenham being teased, Chelsea enjoying a night at the bridge again against their old foes, a team that they regularly beat here, a team that they hardly ever lose to here. Full-time whistle goes, and nothing will make Chelsea fans feel better than this 3 points. They beat Tottenham again to derail Spurs' Champions League hopes and inflict a 10th defeat in 24 games on Ange Postecoglou and his team, whose form since the first game between these two has dropped off dramatically. Chelsea are many things, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes ugly. All across the same season, sometimes in the same game. But they have raised it in key moments this season when many thought they might wilt. It may give Pochettino hope for the future. But how many times have we said that before? Spurs' future, I'm afraid, looks like being in the Europa League. They've been beaten again at Stamford Bridge by 2-0.
It just meant more to Chelsea tonight in front of their own fans, who are absolutely jubilant. Of course they are. They have beaten Spurs in a London derby. We know Spurs hate to come to Stamford Bridge. They go home with their tail between their legs once again. Chelsea were just more aggressive, more dynamic, more hungry in the game, and they have earned themselves a deserved victory that breathes life into their hopes of what had seemed like the most unlikeliest of top 6 finishes, and totally destroys Spurs' hopes of reaching the Champions League. That is all but confirmed. Martin Kieran and Henry Winter alongside me, Hugh Whistlecroft, inside Stamford Bridge, where the party has certainly started. Henry, they just, like I said, wanted it more, it felt. There was a revival from Tottenham in that second half. Chelsea were able to keep them at bay. They got themselves a second goal, and at that point the game was over.
Conor Gallagher, the captain, set the tone. From the moment he applauded the fans before kick-off, they wanted to stay, they wanted to have this contract. I mean, his heat map will include the toes of Romero, the toes of the Spurs goalkeeper, the toes of Mickey van der Ven. I thought he was outstanding. You know, he was tracking back in and out of possession. He created, I don't know who got man of the match, match, but for me, he was absolutely outstanding. And there were a fair few characters from Chelsea who could have been. Madueke, I thought, was terrific on the right. Mudryk, before he sort of tired a bit, clearly still needs work on his finishing. Gilchrist, as Sam said, went off to the standing ovation. I thought he was outstanding against Son, and then Johnson when Postecoglou tried to switch it up. But Spurs will be so disappointing, and their fans were leaving from the 79th minute. That was poor.
What do you think of the Spurs performance here this afternoon, Martin?
Well, it's going to centralise around the set pieces, isn't it? And you're going to start, you look at Chalobah, such an easy header, work to do. Their season has ended really tonight. I was really surprised at the lack of fight, lack of direction, ball splashing across the box. Thought Johnson was probably the only player that he was taken off. So, they looked a long way short of it tonight. The high line that they had, goalkeeper looked as nervous as a kitten, and they were exploited from set pieces. Second one, Palmer hits the bar, no one really reacts. That says it all. If Jackson can get there, where's the two central defenders? Højbjerg is there with Son, flailing after him, and in the end they were second best here tonight.
We've got plenty of time to talk about events here inside Stamford Bridge as the Chelsea players make sure they take the adulation of each and every single one of these fans as they parade themselves around the stadium. It does mean more. It is a London derby. It is against Tottenham Hotspur. They've had so many grudge matches up and down the year, and it was a match of such significance to both teams, albeit particularly in that first half. You wouldn't have felt it from Tottenham Hotspur. They didn't have the bit between their teeth. Their fans will wonder what the pre-match conversation would have been all about in that changing room, because it was a Chelsea side that was covered in injuries. The bench was full of kids. It was like a...
All right. All right, people, it's all over here. Chelsea 2, Tottenham Hotspur nil, guys. Yeah, people, I'm not surprised here, because, how can you do the same thing always, playing the high line? You are playing the high line, you have been found out, and you still keep playing the high line, guys. I can't understand how this Ash Postecoglou is going to cope with this high line thing. I think the game has been found out, guys. But anyway, people, Chelsea, they wanted it more. They were more aggressive. They started the game on the front foot like that, created chances. Nicky Van de Ven with that off the line clearance from Nicolas Jackson chance. Then after that, they got a goal. They got an opener from Chalobah. It was more like a back post header from Chalobah to put Tottenham 1-0 up, guys. And Spurs, they didn't show anything going forward. They didn't, no fight, no hunger, no desire. And it's not looking good. It's not looking good, guys. Second half, they tried to at least take the game to Chelsea, but in no time, Chelsea got the second goal from Nicolas Jackson's header, and just killed the game, killed every momentum that Tottenham were trying to build in the early stage in that first half, like that, guys. And people, so this is a bad result here for Tottenham. It's a bad result here for Tottenham, because losing 3 games on the bounce, and you are trying to secure top 4 finish with just how many games left in the Premier League is, guys, I think it's all over here, because, man, losing 2-0 to Chelsea, you lost to Arsenal, you lost heavily against Newcastle United, and you are still playing the same highline thing, man, bro. It's not working. It's not working right now for this Tottenham Hotspur side, guys. But anyway, people, Chelsea, they wanted to prove a point somehow. Mauricio Pochettino on the side, Nicolas Jackson got his goal. It's good for them. They have gotten a victory here, and it was just more they wanted it more. They wanted it more. They were more more hungry to get this one, guys. But then, people, let's move on to the next stream, guys. A lot of other streams are rolling right now on the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Sami SK Football here. I'm going to divert you to the Aston Villa stream, guys, because Aston Villa, they're actually losing. They're actually losing, guys. So anyway, people, I'm just going to full time is just coming in here. Premier League action tonight. It is Chelsea 2, Tottenham Hotspur nil, guys. Sami SK Football here. I'm out, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Bye for now.
Scarico all'indietro, Stanisic ancora all'indietro, non c'è più persone.
Asmun